I would love to get some really great but reasonably priced wines, whether I'm taking it to something special for a friend or if it's just for a casual dinner at home.
Well, that's why I brought you to Busa's. Their wine director's fabulous. She has a great palate and a wonderful memory for everything she's tasted.
I come into a store like this and I see all of these wines, and honestly I get a little overwhelmed.
So one of my great tips is when you go into a wine store, ask for help.
There are three things I think you should consider when you're coming in looking for wine that will help you to help me, eventually to help you find the right wine. One, what is it for? Gift, food. Two, very important, how much do you want to spend? What's your price range? That really helps me narrow in what you're looking for. Three, what have you liked before? And we have a way of helping you remember that. Take a picture on your camera phone.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yes.
So like if I'm at a restaurant and I'm just eating and I'm drinking something that I like, then I take a picture of the label.
Perfect. Like, oh, wait, I had a great one the other night. Where is it? Deet.
And then I show it to you.
Yes.
Well, why don't we start right now with a gift?
First thing, red or white? Most people say red.
Do they?
Just to make it easy, really,
Okay.
they do. So that's a great way to go. Second, of course, will be the price range. And then third criteria, classic or adventure?
Okay, well, I think adventure is definitely the way I want to go because I want something different and unique, even if it's going to somebody's house for dinner. I want it to be something that they haven't had before.
Adventure tends to impress and certainly says something about the gift giver as well. So actually, Raquel, right behind you is one of my favorites to recommend for adventure.
Oh.
Catena Alta Malbec. Catena is one of the greatest wineries in Argentina. They're the ones who actually really stepped up the winemaking game in Argentina.
So that looks great. I mean, that looks like it's a special gift.
It's a special gift.
So what if it's
You're a red wine
going
lover.
for a dinner party to somebody's house?
Yes.
What about? Do you have something good for that?
So something a little more casual.
Yeah, a little more
sort of
casual,
thing,
and that's probably more like in the $15 to $25 range versus the $50 and up.
Exactly. Italy produces, as you know, some
So is this
fantastic
the wine?
red wines. Yes. There we go. Allegrini.
So I like it under the $20 mark.
Under the 20. This is a Valpolicella Ripasso. Yeah, the Ripasso makes the difference, gives it more body, so you're giving a nice medium, full-bodied wine.
This is one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, Becky. And you can understand why. It's smooth, but it has a lot of savory flavor to it, a little spice.
Great. And then what about for me at home, if it's just a casual meal that I'm going to be serving?
Well, that's where we break that down a little bit to find what you're having and find the wine for it. When you're looking to pair food with wine,
Yes.
an easy way to go about it is to consider the weights of the food.
What do you mean the weights of the food?
Is it a light dish? Is
So
it a
light wine with light meal, with light dishes, medium-bodied wine with, a slightly heartier food, and then when you have something really big in flavor, whether it's not spicy but just really big flavors, then you want to go with a big-bodied wine.
So let's start with my fish dish.
Fish typically is light to medium.
Okay.
Can be full.
Now, do you always have to go with white? Because I usually
Absolutely not. No.
So I usually serve white, but are there some other wines that you recommend?
Yes,
Maybe if you have a white you recommend or a red that you recommend.
Okay, for white, just always works Sauvignon Blanc with fish.
So
And
when you look at where Sauvignon Blanc came from, it came from France and went all over the place. So I think you're looking at a French Sauvignon Blanc.
Actually, yes, right here we have a French Sauvignon Blanc from the Loire Valley. This happens to be Laporte, a Sancerre producer, one of the most famous Sauvignon Blancs in the world from the Sancerre region. And, well, it's only $13.99.
Yeah, notice that price. That's a good price
less
range.
than Sancerre.
So you can have it for an
usually runs about
everyday.
20 plus.
But when you
So
look
this
at
is
the label,
everyday.
this actually says Sauvignon Blanc on it, and usually they don't. It'll say something like Sancerre.
What about our red for
Red
fish?
for fish, light-bodied red, something that has some dance to it, which means
Like
some
dance.
vibrancy. It technically means acidity. That's what you want. And also, when it's light, you can chill it a little bit. Give it a little chill, it acts a little bit like a white wine. This is a wonderful classic of Beaujolais Village from France.
Actually, if you go to Beaujolais, they do serve a lot of river fish there.
So then what about chicken dishes? Because We often have chicken.
Great. I mean, that's just a blank canvas. Whatever you want, almost. White, red, rosé.
Okay, talk about rosés.
I think you should look at a rosé as if it was a very light red.
With some of the characteristics of a white. The good acidity, again, and you serve it chilled.
That's the zing. When we
zing,
say
the
acidity
zest,
is good
the
here.
So you serve it, you serve it like a
chilled.
white wine, but it is
Acts a bit like
but
a
it acts
red,
like a red.
as Becky says, yes.
And so then what's a good recommendation that you have?
Well, you're always safe with one of the favorites here from Provence, Commandery Bargemont. Provence basically is synonymous with rosé. And here you can see the nice pale color. We have some flavors of light red fruits, but again, as Becky's referring to, that wonderful zest and zip that makes it work. Chicken with herbs, any fish, and even, of course, red meat if you need to.
So basically, anytime you would take a white, you could go for a rosé?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
But it also, it's a little bit bigger than that. It
can
pair
move
with
up.
heartier things, sausages and goat cheese and appetizers, things that they would have to eat in the south of France. Think of it that way.
But you're saying also with regions, you like to pair the food with a certain type of region.
That's one of my favorite tips. If you're making some food and you need a wine to go with it, try to think about where the dish might come from. Get a wine from that region.
Okay, so then what about the heavier wines?
Eat steak makes me think of asado and Argentina, and that is Malbec.
Okay, so now is this Catena different from the Catena Alta that you had
Yes,
recommended
it
before?
is. Yes, it is. This is the same producer. Again, one of the best producers. This is their regular Malbec.
Okay.
Recommending a lot of Malbecs these days because they're very approachable, very drinkable. They have some structure, so they don't just disappear in your mouth, and you can pair them with foods.
Well, now that I know a lot about wines, how about champagnes?
We love champagne.
Let's
We haven't had any wines yet.
we need some champagne, so let's learn about champagnes.